Why do so many of us bust our tails in the gym 5 days a week, running the exact same routines that got us totally jacked in our 30s, only to end up with absolutely nada? Hey guys, I'm your host, and man, I really had to learn this one the hard way. A few years back, even with 3 decades in the trenches as an exercise physiologist, I hit this massive, just brutal brick wall. I could literally feel myself losing my edge. My squats started absolutely wrecking my lower back, and honestly, it scared the hell out of me. But what if I told you that there is one hidden muscle, a single, totally neglected muscle that you are almost certainly not training right now, that is the actual make-or-break factor for your physique, your metabolism, and your physical safety after 60? We're going to keep exactly what that muscle is under wraps for just a minute, because first, you really need to understand the scary reality of what is actually happening under the hood.
So here's the million-dollar question. Why do 97% of men over 60 completely fail to build muscle? Look, it taps into that deep gut-wrenching fear we all have, right? Losing our physical edge. Looking in the mirror and kinda not recognizing the guy staring back. We all want to keep that ability to turn heads well into our 60s and beyond. I know I sure did. We all want to be in that elite 3%. But to get there, to actually flip the script on aging, we've got to face some cold, hard facts about what we've been doing wrong all these years.
73%. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. A 2019 meta-analysis published in the Journal of Aging and Physical Activity tracked 1,200 men between the ages of 60 and 75. And these guys were doing standard gym bro routines. You know, your basic 3 sets of 10, progressive overload, chug-in protein shakes, the whole shebang. The result? 73% of these guys saw absolutely zero measurable muscle gain after an entire year. Zero. They showed up, they put in the sweat equity, but their bodies just didn't change. That is the clinical reality right there, and it perfectly sets up the massive hidden solution we're going to uncover today.
So why on earth are 97% of us failing? Well, it's because we're making a fatal biological error. We're trying to apply 35-year-old biology to 65-year-old physiology. It is literally the equivalent of pumping diesel into a regular gasoline engine and then standing around scratching your head wondering why the car won't start. Those old-school training splits, chasing the pump, maxing out volume, hitting chest on International Chest Day, they just don't work for our biology anymore. We're draining a system that's already compromised, basically just accelerating our fatigue without getting any of the payoff. Now here is the cold, dark truth that the fitness industry has pretty much ignored, and honestly, finding this out completely revolutionized how I train. Everyone is so quick to blame plummeting testosterone, but the data out of the University of Nottingham tells a totally different story. Get this. 68% of age-related muscle decline correlates directly with motor neuron degradation. So your muscles aren't just shrinking because of hormones. It's actually your nervous system's wiring that's degrading by about 1% every single year after you hit 60. The electrical signals telling your muscles to fire are literally fading out. It's like an old house with bad electrical circuits, right? You can plug in a top-of-the-line appliance, but if the wiring in the walls is shot, nothing is going to run at full capacity.
But listen to me, do not throw in the towel just yet. The minute I wrapped my head around this, I went from fearing my age to seeing this massive opportunity. Because clinical science actually proves we can rebuild this neural wiring. We can totally reverse the physical decline. We just have to stop training like we're 40 and start deliberately training our nervous system. That 3% who thrive, they aren't genetically gifted mutants. They are just armed with way better information. And applying it, man, it is incredibly empowering.
The proof is staring right at us in the data from this landmark study by Dr. Darren Kandow and his team. They took healthy older guys ages 60 to 71 and put them on a supervised heavy resistance training program for 22 weeks. Just look at how those bars representing the older dudes completely catch up to the younger guys in both lean tissue mass and lower body strength. I mean, wow, just 22 weeks of heavy lifting literally eliminated the age-related deficits, wiped them out completely. That is huge, guys. It proves your body is absolutely still primed to build real functional strength and size.
But to actually get those elite results, I had to swallow my pride and overhaul my entire focus. I had to stop obsessing over the quote-unquote mirror muscles. You know, the chest, the biceps, all the stuff I used to show off at the beach back in my 20s. I mean, sure, they look great in a tight t-shirt. But while you're standing there doing endless dumbbell curls, specific, vital muscles are quietly shrinking away. You've got to shift your focus to rebuilding what we exercise physiologists call the anti-gravity system. So I shifted all my attention to this anti-gravity system. These are the workhorses whose actual biological purpose is to keep you upright and metabolically firing on all cylinders.
First up, the soleus. That's your metabolic furnace hidden right under your calf that burns through glucose all day long. Then you've got the gluteus maximus, your body's biggest hormonal engine. When you activate it properly with a solid pause, it spikes testosterone way better than any upper body move. Next, the quadriceps, which are basically massive glucose disposal units that help fight off insulin resistance. And finally, your rhomboids in the upper back, pulling those shoulders back for proper structural integrity and lung capacity. You train these four, and you are literally building the foundation of youth.
Now, you can train those four all day long, but here's where we get to the real meat of the issue. What is that one make-or-break hidden muscle I promised you at the start of this explainer? There is a fifth, completely hidden muscle that dictates whether you can even safely train those other four when you hit your 70s or 80s. If this one single muscle goes offline, the whole anti-gravity system comes crashing down, taking your entire training career right along with it. Anybody got any guesses? Okay, before I name it, you really need to understand the silent threat it poses. Weakness in this muscle is completely undetectable, right up until you trip. And guys, this is no joke. The CDC lists falls as the leading cause of injury-related death in men over 65. If this muscle weakens, you develop something biomechanically called foot drop. Your toe catches the edge of a rug or the pavement and bam, game over. It is the precursor to the fatal trip. And in the gym, weakness here completely ruins your ability to squat deep without blowing out your lower back, which is exactly what happened to me.
All right, here's the big reveal. The fifth muscle, the absolute lifesaver, is the tibialis anterior. It runs right up the front of your shin. Think of it as the biceps of the lower leg. It controls your ankle dorsiflexion, which is just a fancy way of saying it pulls your foot upward towards your shin. Without it, your foot drags. Without it, your heels pop up when you squat, which shifts all that massive heavy load straight into your knees and lower back. It gets zero dedicated training in like 99% of gym programs out there. But that 3% who are absolutely dominating their later years, oh, they train it religiously.
So how do we fix this? It's incredibly simple, and the best part is it takes 0 extra gym days. Here's exactly what I do in my own routine. I use it as active rest right between my heavy compound sets. Just sit or stand with your heels supported on a weight plate or even just the floor. Raise your toes as high as possible towards your shins and then lower them under full, slow control. That is literally it. If you're at home, pop a resistance band around your toes to add a little load. Knock out 15 to 25 controlled reps. Just 6 weeks of doing this consistently, and I promise you, your squat depth improves, your ankle mobility skyrockets, and your fall risk absolutely plummets. It is the ultimate insurance policy for your physique. Let's wrap this up with a truth that completely changed my life. The 97%? They look at fitness as a chore, just something they do. But the 3%? Fitness isn't something you do, it's someone you are. It's a complete shift in your identity. For me, making these changes wasn't just about trying to look good on a beach anymore. It was about being a dangerous, highly capable man in my 60s and beyond. Don't settle for that sad decline narrative, guys. Rebuild that narrow wiring, bulletproof your anti-gravity system, train that tibialis anterior, and fully adopt the identity of the 3%. Ask yourself right now, are you ready to dominate your next decade? Thanks for joining me on this explainer. I really hope it gave you exactly what you need to transform your training, and I'll catch you next time.